you never know who you're going to run into that's looking for what we're doing. And I got to tell you right now, the season is perfect.
Hey, good morning. Real quick. No, actually, this is not going to be real quick. This might take a minute because things are transpiring and we need to make sure that we get in front of them. Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this weekend? Real quick. Oh, I don't know why I say that real quick. I need to change my background. I need to let you know something real quick that might take a minute. Because unfortunately, real things aren't quick. They take a little while. You have to do your research. So a few people keep sending me the video of this sister right here. Let me bring up the share screen while I change my background. It has nothing to do with space. It has to do with slavery. Slavery never ended. It absolutely never ended. We built a nation on free labor and it pretended. So, all right, let's walk it back just a little bit. I think there's still some people who believe history. They believe that um, Lincoln freed the slaves. Lincoln did not free the slaves. Lincoln, like the rest of the North, just wanted taxes from their work. And so they went to the South because the South would not pay those taxes. They had no issue with slavery whatsoever. However, to win the war, they had to accept that narrative given to them by the abolitionists of the North. And shortly afterwards, okay, well, we freed the slaves, we can get you 40 acres and a mule. And they couldn't do that. Because that's not how an economy works. Once you build up an economy and you have a requirement for free labor, the free labor cannot go anywhere. Slavery, well, I guess in that understanding, slavery ended for a few years before they restarted. This is where the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871 comes in. But I want to play a quick piece of the video by the sister right here in Canada because we got people getting lost in the narrative. This is a video everyone keeps sending me. Let me set the stage for this first of all. Everything is a false flag. Everything is a false flag. We have a government that creates a propaganda act because they're not a government, they're a corporation. Corporations make most money when they're lying and they're selling bullshit. Right. Let me get these brothers up here real quick. This is after the whole emancipation to not proclamate because they did not free the slaves per se. Economically, it was impossible. So when you create an economy that requires a component of free labor, you can't just turn it off. They attempted to do that to, let's say, to make those who required that happy. But I think they knew the entire time that that was never the intent of the war. The intent of the war was to get the taxes from the free labor. So what they did is they created the Emancipation Proclamation. Very shortly after, when everything collapsed, they created the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871. And that's when they created Washington, D.C. as a city government that you have to get people to consent and agree to be governed by a corporation. So it's no different than Hershey. These are international buildings. Say Hershey created a plot of land in somewhere out in Pennsylvania, Harrisburg, and they bought the land and they said, hey, we're going to create a government out here. We're going to call it, well, north of Harrisburg is Hershey. We're going to call it Hersheyburg. And you can either stay with your impoverished, say United States Incorporated is bankrupt at that time, like we are today. We're probably the poorest nation on the planet, but if you print money, that gets into central banking. We won't go into that. They say, hey, listen, you can stay with the bankrupt corporation that's got you in face diapers and how many people can get in your house Thanksgiving and Christmas, or you can come over here and become a commodity of Hersheyburg. And that actually is what the Washington, D.C. Act did. And I mean, there are a couple of videos we could look at to kind of set that up and explain it. But so what's happening right now is you have a narrative that's being attached to the Restore the Republic reality, right? You've got this Q thing that's being attached to it. And I see a play that's coming, which is why I felt I need to do a video on Sunday, because they did this to Occupy Wall Street, right? If you have no idea what the problem is, they're good to go with you. If you start to narrow down on what the problem actually is, they're going to come for you. And so what they're doing that I can see, it looks like they're attaching Q to restore the Republic, repeal the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871, reclaim the birth certificate, go back to being an American citizen, away from being a piece of property owned by Washington, D.C., Corporation of Washington, D.C. So let me play her video real quick, or a piece of it anyway. But this is what's happening. So we're 3 days away from, the whole insurrection. Oh my God, oh my God. And it's just the reason I laugh at that and I joke because people don't actually think about history. They've done this many times. That is their model. That is their modus operandi. They go around the world, they stage insurrections, and they destroy governments to steal resources. They're just doing it here. Is it spotty? Right. So the whole Q thing, they're going to do to Q what they did to Black Lives Matter and Antifa. They're going to do the Q to what they did to, I think, was the Prayer Boys. They're going to do the Q to what they did to the Black Panthers. They're going to do the Q to what they did to the Ku Klux Klan. They're going to do the Q to what they did to Occupy Wall Street. They're going to make them a terrorist organization. They're going to make the whole thing terroristic. And I have a lot of friends who read law who spend time actually trying to solve a problem that are going to become high on a terrorist watch list because they're going to attach this narrative. So let me play a video real quick, and this is what's unfolding.
Hello, everyone. Today's recording date is January 15th, 2021. This is another Hold the Line video. I'm going to read something to you off my screen, and I think you're going to like it. So hang on to your hats. Here we go. A peaceful transition is coming. Trump will not be sworn in as the 45th president of the United States on January 20th. Trump will take office as the 19th president of the United States on March 4th under the restored republic. Let me explain. You believe you live in a nation called United States of America. This nation hasn't existed since 1871, when this country ceased to be a nation and became a corporation belonging to the City of London. Every time you see an American flag with a gold fringe and gold tilt attached to it, it represents the corporation, not the country. This is the reason you can never make progress financially. This is why the law always seems to be against the average citizen, while the rich and the elite literally get away with murder and worse things. If Biden, Harris, Pence, Pelosi, etc. are arrested for their crimes before January 20th, there will be no one to assume the presidency. Since Trump has not been certified as the presidential winner by Congress, he cannot remain president. If there is no president on January 20th, the corporation known as the United States of America will be dissolved. The military will then become the guardians of the nation during the transition. People will then have irrefutable proof that the election was stolen by foreign entities and that Trump was chosen by a landslide. Trump then assumes the presidency as the 19th president of the United States. The last president elected before America became a corporation was Ulysses S. Grant. Republic restored. Now, I really don't know all the details involved in this. Just know the end goal has always been the destruction of the 1871 corporation and the return of America to the people of the constitutional republic it was always intended to be. The next month and a half will be chaotic. Make sure you have plenty of water, food.
I'm going to stop right there. So, do you see the problem with what she's saying? Like, listen to what she's saying. Basically, you don't have to do anything. Just sit back and just wait and relax and everything will be okay. I have an issue with that. But before I even talk, is the sound gravelly? Is it clear? It's not clear. I need to change my headset. But she clear or was I clear? All right, Christine's talking about false hope. Someone replies to that, right? So the whole thing is false hope. They don't want you to do anything. They just want you to sit back and say, hey, yeah, it's going to be okay. Here's your hero. We're going to fix everything for you. And that's not how sovereignty works. I have friends who've been studying this for a very long time. You sit back and do nothing. Welcome in your new United States Incorporated president, Ivan Bowden. It's just slavery, right? Slavery never stopped, which is why I started off on this. They created the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871 to create a national slave plantation. We all became commodities of the corporation. Corporations, as Lori's talking about, don't just dissolve. They don't just disappear. It is a corporation and they still own you. They can do anything to you. This is why they shoot black people in the street like hotcakes and shoot white males in the street like hotcakes and shoot Lavoy Finicum. And they don't really care because you don't have a Bill of Rights. You don't have a constitution. You're not a citizen. You are a commodity. So yeah, it can burn, but we have to reclaim our status. All right. And now is it clear? I don't want to get off into it. Still a little choppy. You heard her fine. Yeah, so it's probably my headset. I'm unplug it. And maybe I'll revert back to my old headset. How does that sound? That might be clear without it. You know. And so what they do is they take something that is true and they add bullshizzle to it, right? Like, this is how you create and say, oh my God, well, this is about insurrection. This is about terrorism. This is so we need to take the people who are reading the law, who are trying to reclaim their rights and make them a part of this terrorist organization that's trying to stage an insurrection, which to me is all bullshizzle because they do insurrection all over the planet. That's exactly how all this actually all works. It creates some sort of a situation to collapse society, destroy businesses, destroy infrastructure, anything they can do to basically get people to riot, right? And if anybody, what's going to happen on January 20th, the same thing that happened on January, was it 3rd or 6th, whenever all this happened, whatever they want to happen is exactly what's going to happen. Is it clear? No clearer, no worse. It's the exact same. I don't know what to do about that then. I thought I knew what to do about that. I guess there is, well, you know what? I can try one more headset. I think I got another headset in here. So my point is you don't want to sit back and wait. You sit back and wait. Not only are the people who are trying to correct their status going to be terrorists, but nothing's going to change. You're still going to be a commodity. Donald Trump doesn't default to the president of the republic, which, by the way, there actually is a president of the republic. I kind of joke when I say Ulysses S. Grant is the president of the republic. He's actually not. There actually was a group a few years back, I haven't followed them in a while, that actually had enough states and voted with like a couple thousand people and elected a new president. It's okay. We can understand you. All right. I'll get my next headset. I'm trying to plug it in. So slavery didn't end. We're worse than slaves. Right? We are commodities. This is why half of my friends, when they go to work, they say we're going to slavery because we are forced labor commodities for international billionaires. And there are too many just gaslit people who have no idea what's going on. They still think, half of them think, oh, it's insurrection. And the other half of them kind of went along with the narrative of the United States Incorporated because they like Donald Trump. But this is where we can take this and turn this into something decent. We can turn it into something real. We can steal the narrative. Oh, it sounds good now, Mark. I'm sorry. I just actually plugged in another headset. Let's see if this gets a little better. When life throws you lemons, you make lemonade. You don't let them make terrorists out of people who are trying to do the right thing. Okay, my new headsets, and let me know how that looks. So it's all controlled opposition, like Sanders talking about, right? It never ceases. And they create the propaganda act to prove that to you, that we're going to lie to you and we're going to make you pay for it. We're going to do false flags. We're going to do fake news. We're going to lie about all these things. But we can take the animosity and the angst that everybody has for the prison industrial complex, the military industrial complex, the war on drugs, like all the unconstitutional things that you wouldn't do to a dog, and get rid of them. Because now we have so much angst in the public, we just need to know what to do. You said it sounds good, Deb CT? All right. So again, walking away is a solution. It is, and this is the other one, right? Peacefully. peacefully walking away. There's nothing we need to do in terms of going to protest. You don't need to protest anything. A corporation just needs you to remain beholden to it, right? It needs you to continue to give its consent. You need to get your strength back and walk away. The United States Incorporated is not scared of your guns. They're not scared of your protests. They're not scared of your Sharpie signs. I said this is the same thing to the Black Lives Matter people. They don't care. They literally make people do that because they know how to respond. They need the violence. They want the violence. They've done that to dozens of countries, right? That's with the CIA and toppling nations to put in puppet governments. They need you to be upset and to riot in the cities. They need you in the streets. What they don't want you educating yourself. They don't want you reading. They don't want you reclaiming your status and going back to being a republic, right? You know, it's a grand awakening. I think it could be, Mike. It could be if we get funky with it. If we get funky with it and we really start bringing people over into understanding what the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871 is, it was undoing the Emancipation Proclamation, basically making a national slave plantation, taking away everybody's rights. And then they did that to the entire world, you know, and so they're rolling forward with it. They did a scam in 1871 and got away with it. So they did another scam in 1913, got away with it. They did another scam in 1933 and got away with it. And so then they pushed that scam all over the world, right? And so there's another video I actually want to show. Remove your consent. And that's it, Riley. Like, you know, and there are many ways to approach that. What I find interesting, though, is you get far enough and it gets a little choppy, right? There's something weird about removing your consent. I don't understand. The further people get with it, the less they speak. And maybe that is a part of how it works. I'm going to show another piece of a brother.
I don't have any.
William Faust, hold on. And he kind of explained it real well. I think I shared this video a long time ago, but he started talking about towards the end of slavery and how that kind of feeds into all of this, the ends of that form of slavery to create the new slavery. And it kind of fed in with what I was thinking about this morning. I was reading another perspective on 1871 that I'll show you from a website. Here's Faust right here. Hold on.
With that in mind, let's consider the events of the time. The Civil War had recently ended and the country was still under Lincoln's Conscription Act. We call that a martial law now. Okay, so under martial law, president can write anything and it's considered as law. Okay. Now, once we come out of martial law, all those laws are abated. That means they're no longer in effect. Okay. So if you notice, every president since then has declared war on something. Declared war on drugs. We've declared war on poverty. They've all declared war on something to keep us into a state of war so that the president has ultimate power in our country. Okay. Congress had at least 3 problems they could see no way to directly cure by following the laws of the land. They were out of funds. They had promised 40 acres of land to each slave that left the South to fight for the North, and they had to reintegrate the South into the Union, which they could not do without controlling the appointment of the Southern states' congressional members. There were other problems, but these 3 stand out from all the rest. That is enough about the environment for the purposes of this review. However, the more you study the historical events of this time, the more obvious the relationships become. You will become a more proof, it'll become, and the more proof you will have to amass to prove the facts, what actually happened. In the interest of time and space in this response, we'll move on. Okay, the next one up. Knowing the government of District of Columbia was already created into the government and so formed into a municipal incorporation in 1801, under the District of Columbia Acts, we wonder, even with Congress's constitutional authority to pass any law within the 10 square mile of the district, how do you create or incorporate for the first time a municipal government that has already been in existence as a municipal corporation for 70 years? And the answer is, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So what Congress did is they committed fraud. Okay. Now, the cool part is the District of Columbia only has authority over the District of Columbia. Okay? And its jurisdictions. How do they get jurisdiction? By consent. Only by our consent. So they call things, instead of the Arizona state, they changed the terminology to the state of Arizona. It's kind of like being in a state of euphoria. Are we in a euphoria now? We're not in the state of Arizona either. Okay? We're on the Arizona Republic, or we're on the Arizona state, whatever you want to say, but we're on. Whenever you're in something, you're under the dirt. You're dead. You're a corporation. So I'm saying all these things to you because when you go to court and the judge asks you, where do you live? And you use the word in, you're done. Tell him. He's looking for contracts. He's looking for something that you signed. Do you have a driver's license? You say yes, you're done. He's looking for 3 contracts of 3 specific pieces of information to trap you into his jurisdiction, okay? Now, I'm going to tell you this. People call and they say, what is the Republic doing? Well, the Republic, for one thing, we're educating as fast as, if I'm in a bank line trying to cash a check, and somebody says, boy, is this economy crooked? I go, we're standing in the biggest bank robbers of all time, right here. He goes, where? I go, right here. They're on the other side. They're robbing us every time we get here. And I talk about it all the time because you never know who you're going to run into that is looking for what we're doing. And I got to tell you right now, the season is perfect. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is perfect right now. I don't have anybody say, oh yeah, that George Bush, he was great. Or that Jimmy Carter, boy, what a great guy. Everybody's just sick of everything. You know what I mean?
No, the season wasn't perfect when he made this video in 2013. The season is perfect right now, which is why I think they're pulling this with the whole Q thing, right? They're trying to make it so that even discussing reclaiming your birth certificate is a crime. And what Lori's saying right there is spot on. They call everything an emergency, right? If everything is an emergency, then they can stay under the state of emergency. And they can continue to do things, and it's, take away powers, take away rights, build out these prison industrial complexes, build the Guantanamos, invade the nation, and just continue to loot the country. The timing is right because something changed. And I'll let people just debate what changed. Some people think it's the virus, others think it's the currency shift. And at the end of the day, I always lean back to currency. Why? Because that's who actually controls the world. That's who has the ability to shut down all the corporations in the world, which are not governments, they're just corporations. At the end of the day, the purse decides. He who prints the money doesn't care who actually authors the laws. And right now, I don't know anyone that's in love with Donald Trump. I know people who voted for him because they hated the other side and they like some of the things he said. I don't know anybody who's in love with Jive and Bowden, right? Now is the time to stage a peaceful walkaway, not a revolt. You try to do your revolt, they will get the martial law that they want. That's exactly what they want, is they want you to be downtown acting foolish when this goes down. Or they want you to sit at home and watch the television and believe the false narratives that they portray on the television, right? We lead by dead souls. We definitely lead by psychopaths or something like that, Mark. And the documents are declassified right about now. What is that, Jimmy? Which documents? So this might end up being a quick video. Actually, no, there's something else I want to read. I kind of want to spend more time with this brother right here, but there was a good breakdown of the Organic Act that I do want to read. Let me see if I can share this real quick. We can seize the day, but it has nothing to do with anything angry and upset. It has to do with you educating yourself. You want to scare the hell out of the United States Incorporated. You're pissed off. Your president didn't win. Your Bernie didn't get up selected. Your Jive and Bowden's now starting to actually act like the fool that he is and putting out more systemically enslaving laws. You can't figure out why the stimulus is half about sending money to other countries to create insurrections as opposed to stimulating the economy here. You can't figure out why Jive and Bowden's new laws are sending money to criminal friends on Wall Street to prop up certain crony industries and corporations that, oh, it's to keep you employed, it's to keep your job safe. No, it actually is to keep a few corporations on top of other corporations in this good old boy crony network so that they can continue to feed money back to the politicians and lobby them so that they can stay in office. So this corrupt cycle keeps going. That's how you get the most corrupt politicians at the top. So let me jump over to the Organic Act real quick. There's a bunch of stuff I can show you. I'll post the links for this brother right here in his video and walking you through what the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871 is. But you got to get off of the Trump train, people. You have to, they grab every narrative. They grab every narrative and they run with it. Let me see if you can see this right here. Here you go. That's not good enough. Bigger. There you go. Put a little Viagra on it. Hit that button. And this is another link. I'll send you the link. This talks about the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871. That's a good perspective. I try to get everyone's perspective on it. I've sent it to a few lawyer friends of mine. This is what happened, 1871. February 21, Congress passes an act to provide a government for the District of Columbia, not a city, not a state, the district, also known as the Act of 1871. Why? Because when they ended slavery, too many billionaires lost way too much money. There was no way they could keep the economy going. Everything was based on that input. So they had to create more slavery, and it was easier to bring everybody into it. With no constitutional authority to do so, Congress creates a separate form of government for the District of Columbia, a 10 square mile parcel of land. The act passed when the country was weakened and financially depleted in the aftermath of the Civil War, was a strategic move by foreign interest international bankers who were intent upon gaining a stranglehold or a stronghold on the coffers and the neck of America. Congress cut out a deal with the international bankers to incur a debt to said bankers because the bankers were not about to lend money to a floundering nation without serious stipulations. They devised a way to get their foot in the door to the United States. And it's the same thing with the whole whether or not a virus just destroyed your planet. No, what just destroyed your planet are people who are plotting to bring you down to your knees, destroying your business and destroying your means to be employed and take care of your family so that they can roll out the next scam. The Act of 1871 formed a corporation called the United States Corporation, owned by foreign interests, moved in and shoved the original Constitution into a dustbin. Why is that important? Well, people don't like the police state. You just watched a whole year worth of insurrection, but it was just insurrection. And so was this, but it's not insurrection. It's just people saying, what the hell are you doing? You're supposed to be my government. Why are you murdering me in the street? And people are flipping out about it. And they're right about that. You don't like the police state neither. But this is where all sides have an interest, because if you don't have say in the land that you live in, you have no hope. If you and if you barely got a government, you don't have a government, it's just a corporation. You don't have any hope at all. Right? So people have to get say back in the land they live in. Otherwise, everything is going to continue to get worse. And so now is the best time that we need to educate people on what the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871 is. So the Act of 1871, the Organic Constitution, was defaced, in effect vandalized and sabotaged. When the title was capitalized and the words for were changed to of in the title, right? And so the words were capitalized. And if you follow, I forgot the name of the brother Chris something from the UK, who actually does a lot of research on that. He was the one who taught me, when you call it the United States Incorporated, all caps, anything all caps is dead, right? This gets back to maritime law. When you got on a boat to leave England to go somewhere, you signed your name in all caps, because everything in all caps isn't alive, it's dead. Why? Because most people didn't come back. And so if you didn't come back, if your name was in all, when you got back, you wrote your name in small caps. So anybody in all caps, they were considered to be dead. And that's what the United States Incorporated is. It's a corporation, it's an entity, it's dead. That's why on your birth certificate, everything is in capital letters. This is no conspiracy, people. This has nothing to do with Q. This has to do with law. This is how things work. The Constitution of the United States of America is the Constitution of the Incorporated United States of America. The corporation, not the government. It operates in an economic capacity and has been used to fool the people into thinking that It governs the republic. It does not. Capitalization is not insignificant when one is referring to legal documents. So that's what he's talking about right here. I haven't read this. I started going through it and I found it to be interesting. That's why I'm reading it to you guys. This seemingly minor alteration has a major impact on every subsequent generation in America and around the world, right? Because ever since that, and this is what the brother was just talking about, we've been in a state of perpetual war. Why are we invading and destroying every other nation? Because we got the money to. How do we have the money to? Because in 1913 and 1933 gave us the ability to print money, which meant at that point we had the world's reserve currency and we could print the money. It means that we have infinite ability to wage infinite war. And that's why we blow up everybody that we can. Why? Because we have fake money. We have phony money. We have monopoly money, right? We use that to send it to other nations where all the minerals and resources come from, which feed the war engine, and we can constantly pay the people to go around and blow up other nations and steal what they have. It was the perfect scam that was unavoidable, right? This is what would happen if you have the infinite ability to make infinite money. War is a terribly expensive thing. And I think the person who talked about that best probably was Ron Paul. War is horribly expensive. There were no infinite wars. They were always temporary wars. Why? Because you always ran out of money. You know, the reason we invade every single nation is because we got infinite money. All right. And this is where we're at, right? Because why did they destroy our economy? Well, because they need to get us trillions of dollars in debt because they got the next couple nations they want to invade. And people are tired of war. Americans are sick of this nonsense. So are Britons and people in Canada. So what did they do? What did they do? Is they got everybody to sit at home to run up trillions of dollars in debt. And the only way to pay that debt back is by blowing up other nations and stealing what they got and dropping bombs everywhere. That's why you're sitting at home in a face diaper. It has nothing to do with the virus. All right. What Congress did by passing the Act of 1871 was create an entirely new document, a constitution for the government of the District of Columbia, an incorporated government. You can go read this law, people. It literally is online. The Washington, D.C. government is not your republic. It is not your government. These are international billionaires who use your nation as a tip of the Rothschild, Rockefeller spears to blow up people, right? Has nothing to do with Donald Trump. Has nothing to do with Q. Has nothing to do with anything but the fact that we are ignorant and we're not citizens. We are commodities to this corporation. Act of 1871. I mean, it's a great perspective. I'll do comments. I haven't even read the whole thing. I found it interesting. This is what I'll do. While I do comments, I'm gonna share the link right here, and I'm gonna share the link to his video to make sure that it's all right there. But this is what I see coming. I need to go down and read the rest of it because I appreciate all the perspectives. But this is where they're taking us, right? They're taking us into a new world where even if you talk about birth certificates in the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871, it means that you're aligned with white supremacists, that you want to stage an insurrection. You are now a terrorist, you know, and this is the game that the CIA has played all over the world. And rightfully so. We've consented to it. We did this. We've asked for it, and we don't want to undo it. So there you go. All the links are right there. I'm gonna read some comments and we'll see where that goes. But that is what I see unplaying. They're literally destabilizing the country, and they're using this false flag narrative about white supremacists are coming to get you because they got slavery 3.0. We had slavery 1.0. They faked the end of that, and they brought a slavery 2.0 with the Washington, D.C. Act of 1871, where nobody has any damn rights for anything. They built a world empire. Every empire needs a massive police state and a mass incarceration because you bring in barbarians from all over the world like Rome did. And those barbarians don't get along. And those barbarians realize a scam. And once you get so big, you have to start slaying people on the pyramids. And that gets into the Aztecs and the Mayans who did it too. You start slaying people on pyramids. You start slaying children in the street. You start slaying the Lavoy Phoenicians. Why? Because you need people to capitulate and obey. Now slavery 3.0 is coming. That's the Banking for All Act, right? The digital dollar, the last currency that human beings have, which, oh God, does that take us into another discussion that I really don't want to touch. The fact that we finally became three races. Y'all know what the three races are? We just had the human race. from a scientific perspective, not the ignorant races that Maryland and Virginia gave the world to steal the land, but the real races. You got the human race, it's organic humans, right? Scientifically, from a DNA perspective, you now have something that is Moderna-ish, and you have something that is Pfizer-ish. Like, somebody sent me a video yesterday, and I was just watching that, and it blew my mind, because it was a geneticist talking about it. And he said, you just changed your species. You now have a species called human with 3 scientific races within that have different DNA, that's going to go its own way, and it's going to become what it does. And nobody has any idea what it's going to become down the road. So all the fantasy races created enough problems. Now we got real races. And think about the implications of that. And I'm just processing it yesterday. I was thinking, my God, I need to know really, like, how does this spread? Because everything you touch, you change DNA with, let alone have children. You've literally just created the first GMHs, genetically modified humans. And this is the new world they want to take us into. And I think that's why all this is happening, in terms of the trying to make those who are trying to restore the republic and go back to America actually having a government terrorists. Is because they need the last form of slavery, the 3.0, to walk us into an age of either robots and automation doing the labor, or these genetically modified humans that you can interface with everything you need to. It's just science. Like, I do prefer this back when this was conspiracy, but now that it's all in front of you, and they've all but admitted it, they need to do the last lockdown in this 3.0 of slavery before they hand the world over to billionaires through all this nonsense we've all consented to. And I wouldn't call it a golden age. I'd call it a very dark age, And he is killed. Who is killed, Lori? Usually the system only comes after those who are actually defying it, and anybody alive that's on the stage teaching and preaching to you, they're not actually defying the system. They're all going with it. The central banking system knows that this is losing its control. Perhaps they constructed this pandemic to inject the blockchain cryptocurrency into all the bodies. Mike, that's always been my theory. And I posted that from day one. Day one, they said, oh my God, China, things are falling apart. It's a virus. And I was just like, no, that's central bankers. I was like, this is what they were talking about. The financial analysts have been saying this for a very long time. And I've been following them. They've been saying it's coming, it's coming. When they need to switch the currency to a digital currency, a digital fiat currency, they need a global event to happen. So when this first happened, Mike, you can go back to my earlier post. I was like, nope, financial analysts are right. They didn't know when it was going to happen, but they knew it was going to happen, or they were going to use an event to use as a time to flip the world's reserve currency. You can't flip the world's reserve currency unless you have a global event where people are looking the other way. Okay, talking about breakfast. Let's get down to the exposing of the works of 7 ways to sunset. All right, thank you, Jimmy. Biden will force. Yes, he will, Christine. He already said it. And so it's an interesting thing when you think about it from that perspective. Now that it's obvious that there are some V signs, right, that are actually out there that are rushed, but the one that Moderna and Pfizer made are not. Those are experiments. Those are just changing people's DNA. And it would be interesting to know what he's going to force. But to me, it all feeds into control. Like, to me, No, that was a monkey issue. Although I was thinking about that for a minute. I was like, you know what, maybe I should play this into the CIA shut me down. Oh my God. No, listen, I'll be honest with you. No, the power clipped out because I've got essential oils, I got the pump and the heater going. So again, I don't run my mouth and sit here and talk stuff. I'm doing the things that I need to do, and I'm looking at the future where we need to go and creating things. So I'm creating things. So I switched over to my phone and Wi-Fi, if y'all can hear me, and then I'll switch back to the computer and we'll get back into it. Yeah, no, I had to run downstairs and flip the circuit breaker, and now I'm back up. And I lost my train of thought, but and this is a good example. So I got this on my phone now, the StreamYard thing, and we can use technology to solve the world's problems, or we can use technology to continue to fulfill the billionaires' narratives. Okay, I think we're coming back online. See, that's the green screen. And this is what happens every now and then. Things a hiccup, and you realize the matrix, you can see through the matrix. And right now we're in a time where the matrix is hiccuping, and we need to see through it. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's two of you. Look at this. Hold on. What the hell? Oh, look at it. Oh my God, this is crazy. No. Yeah, you gotta go, bro. Do that one. All right. All right, that's enough. Woo, good example. That's how you recover, baby. That's how you do it. All right, turn that off. Sorry about that, folks. That's what happens. The Wi-Fi came back up in a few minutes. But this is my point, right? When you see, shut up, Gerard, shut up. When you see through the matrix, you have to accept that, you know what? Wow, things aren't what we think they are. Lord have mercy. Technology can do amazing things if we want it to, or it can continue to enslave us. Like, this technology can feed us, and we can use these tools and how to communicate with each other and get real sexy with it, or we can continue to let the tools of the world be utilized for the billionaires. That's how I found my way to this whole live streaming thing. Is I'm a technology guy, and I don't want to work anymore for making billionaires wealthier. Not when kids need food. No, at the end of the day, for me, once again, there should be no adult on this planet that has anything they want, as long as you got children that don't have what they need. That's what this is about. All right. Now, I lost the comments. We're going to die on the comments. Let's check on YouTube. Yeah, I think YouTube would have got shut down when I backed out for a minute also. Too much truth. Welcome to Censored Drive. Yeah, I was going to go with that narrative, Tony. I like to be honest, though. Yeah, it was technical problems. Get down to the crash. Let me get beyond that. Well, let me go above that. Last couple comments up there, and then we'll move down. I posted the links. Y'all can watch that. What we got here. Can you leave that video in the links? I already did. I have to get ready to take the boys ice skating. All right, there you go. And you should. And you should. And hopefully y'all ain't got to wear the face diapers. All right. World is waking up. Look at India and all the farmers who protest cuckoo virus. They are with too many to stop. Okay, you know what? I didn't know that. That's a wonderful thing, Christine. And they should. My God, they should be ashamed of what they did. Anybody who's still going along with this narrative should be ashamed of all the millions of people who died in this bull crap. I have friends in India who talk about how they think millions of people died from the lockdowns. And it's time to stop playing this. You can't shut down the world's reserve currency, the nation that holds that, because you got a new scam you're trying to roll out without killing a bunch of people, and a bunch of people died. You know, hang on, that puts you on the wild goose chase. I got a few people in Reddit. I don't think these guys fit into our discussion, but we'll make this a little bit bigger. So you're putting people on a wild goose chase. That's why the wild goose is what I do in the morning time. I have fun with this stuff. Hold on. So educate yourself. That's my point. Don't sit back and wait. You sit back and wait, ain't nothing going to change. They try to co-opt every single narrative, and they are fantastically good at it. Go back Okay, you know, it cut off all the above comments. So go down, be sovereign. And there's an answer, Lori, right there. Very simple. And so how that fits into, Lori, is the whole sovereign citizen movement is they've been on the terrorist watch list for a while now. You know, the sovereign citizens, which is interesting too, because you got that politician who talks about it and say, oh yeah, well, the sovereign citizens, they're just, you know, white nationalist survivors in the South who are, you know, trying to bring slavery back. And because there are videos online when you hear that and police arresting them, right? The whole sovereign citizen movement, that's what they're doing now. Again, they're trying to relate the whole white nationalist insurrection to people who actually read the law and just say, no, I don't want to be your slave no more. And this is what everybody has in common is you're a sovereign human being. Nobody has a right to tell you to do anything. Nobody has a right to abuse you. And that's what the founding fathers had right. You got to have a nation where people dictate what it does. And I'm hesitant on the word government. I'm not a big person on government. I don't really believe in these things anymore. I kind of think adults can make their own decisions and lead their own lives. Got a goose on the table. So, although that is the powers that be's table. So yeah, the goose can drop what he wants. I bastard. Thought it was me. No, it wasn't you, Robert. Oh, but you did something funny this morning. I forgot what you posted this morning, brother. You posted something real. Y'all don't follow Robert Walker. That's a funny dude. G has been silenced by the internet god. No, not yet. That's coming. That's coming. Soon enough, we'll all be terrorists and they'll drag us all. You're a white nationalist. I'm like, no, I'm not. You said, yes, you are. Yeah, I'm not. You must be a white nationalist because you're talking about the law and reclaiming your birth certificate. Then that's what's coming. That's why they went after Occupy. They actually knew what the problem was. And now it kind of feels like a lot of people from the Trump side are starting to become anti-establishment enough that they're looking. We can do something with that. The question is, are we going to? All right. Let me get down. Welcome to the club, newbie. Oh, you know what? Well, by the way, I got to tell you about that, Riley. Nope, I've already been to Facebook jail enough times that I've decided I don't want to go back to Facebook jail. So, Riley, if you notice, I don't go to Facebook jail because I talk around things. I misspell what I need to. And I don't say things that trigger the software that captures the words to get the attention of people. Yeah, I'm sure I still get reported, which is fine. But I think I even get reported less. I actually think, Riley, that most people think they're doing the right thing, right? You know, when this all started and we were talking about this is cuckoo virus, right? This is nonsense. This makes no sense. It's not scientific. People were reporting you because they were scared, right? Like they had somebody elderly at home. They were concerned. They thought you were being dangerous, you know, and this is the problem with gaslit people. They are very dangerous, but they're passionate people and they really want to save their grandmother. But after a while, it becomes obvious that they were actually helping the people that's been poisoning their grandmother since the beginning, since the grandmother was born, let alone helping her, getting her locked into all these different drugs to keep her alive or drugs to keep her sick because she thinks it'll keep her alive. But I think now there are enough people, Riley, who are starting to realize that, wow, they weren't lying, that the comorbidities are subsidized by government. And the stress and all the other problems that they do to us through slavery 2.0, which is about to become slavery 3.0, unless we say no, it's going to kill a lot more people. So I think even people are reporting each other less. I think, I don't know. But, you know, there's some people who don't care about going to the social media prison. I prefer not to. So I kind of shift how I speak, but it depends on the topic. All right. When waves reach the beach, they crash. Yes, they do. Mark Kutchuk. YouTube is frozen too. Well, yeah. Because I was running in the basement to switch the circuit breaker. All right. You only take the flak when you come over the target. That's it, Jimmy. And if you're not over the target, they don't shoot flak at you. Y'all know what flak is? You know what Jimmy's talking about? When you're over the target, then they come for you. When you're not over the target, they send you $100 million. When you're not over the target, you know, they tell you that, well, just sit home and don't do anything, and Q will take care of you. Donald Trump will just instantly become the president of the republic, even though it's a different president of the republic, and he didn't run against Ulysses S. Grant. They feed people what they need to hear to do nothing. or they feed people what they need to hear to keep doing the same stuff they've been doing. Get out there on the street and protest, fight for your rights, fight racism. You know, they get out there and they make more racism. They keep doing the same thing. And so I see it playing out on all sides, the same exact narrative. All right. No way his resurrection. Yep, I'm back. Yes, I'm back. And back. Yep. Yep. Okay. You look like a robot. Thank you, Riley. Clear now. Oh, good. That's weird. I know, poor connection. Okay, I thought it was clear, poor connection. I don't know. Blurry and stop motion animation going. Okay, let's get down to some comments and I'm gonna go. Thought the Shiders got me. No, they already got Tony. They got everybody. They got the whole world. They got the whole world. They got the whole world in their hands. They literally got the whole world. The East India Trading Company became United States Incorporated, and people who don't like slavery and people who love freedom for some reason continue to vote and consent to it. So hopefully we're done with this. Hopefully this becomes a movement to restore sovereignty back to humans. You know, the idea that Trump people are talking about it, but they got to stop talking about Trump. You got to get rid of your heroes. You can't have any heroes and villains. All right, say a flag word. So I know you're not a shill. No, I'm not going to say a flag word. I'll say cuckoo virus. I will say, I think I spelled insurrection wrong. And I think that actually is where you probably shouldn't even be saying in erection. So we have to call it erection from now on. No, you can't. We need Toto. Yeah, you mean like Toto from the Wizard of Oz? Could be. I don't know. 2G. Yeah, I was on 2G. That hurt my ears. Yeah, well, okay, all right, we're going back. The UFO landed. It did not land, Mark Kutchuk. If the UFO landed, I would not be here, bro. I'd be gone. I'm so sick of Monkey Planet. Hell no. I don't care what aliens it is, Mark. That UFO lands, I'm getting on it. I'm not even gonna look. They could be blue aliens, could be the people with the big foreheads, the cone heads, the praying mantis. I really don't care. I'm done with the monkey. Because now they got synthetic monkeys. They got a Moderna monkey and a Pfizer monkey. Hell no, I ain't staying for this. No, I do not want to see what they turn into. If the UFO lands, I'm leaving. Crossport your stream to network. I don't even know what that is, Paul Bradley. Well, all right, feedback loop. Yeah, because I had my camera phone and I had the laptop going at the same time. All right, turn that stuff off. I did, man. Oh, you know what? I had to quote Tony. I had to quote you this morning. One of my friends posted something. Sister Jessica and Darnell, and they talk about this all the time too. They talk about the law, the legal system, reclaim your sovereignty, stuff like that. They're legal talkers. Elaine's a whole bunch of them that talk about that stuff. And what did she post? Something about taking her kids out of school and homeschool. And I was like, yeah, get it, sis. I said, you know, and you need to get out of Dodge too. And I had to quote Tony, and I said, I'm sick of the moron population. I'm done with it. I'm so done. I can't live around ignorant people. Ignorant people gonna get me killed and my kids killed. So no, I'm homeschooling, virtual school, and virtual schooling is bad enough. And it pisses me off when I think about it, Tony, because they basically stole a year out of children's lives. This is worse than any form of child abuse I can think of. You know, child abuse, physical child abuse, at least that's just for a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and it's done. The kids heal, and a year later they forget about it. This was a whole year worth of child abuse. I sat there and watched two little kids cry who haven't seen each other in months. And these were like, not like babies, but they were like kids. They literally stole a year out of these children's lives. So hell no, it's moron population. I had to quote him this morning. Turn that stuff off. They shouldn't have had no TV on anyway. He planted his instructions subliminally. Okay, don't know what we're talking about there. Let me get down in the comments. Loop feedback, that's what it was. I guess that's what it was. Move down. So we're talking about the law here. What's going on? Oh, here we go. Q-tards. Q-tards on the left, lip-tards on the right. See, and this is why Tony gets deleted so much. He's always, but you gotta be nice. Try to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. I mean, but the thing is, in reality, Q is not coming to save you, and the damn liberals ain't coming to save you either. They're just going to walk you on the slave plantation 3.0. And that's what he's trying to say. It's always controlled opposition. I understand it. Always still did. What is this? Joshua something. Joshua liked to play a nice game of chess. Or Joshua. Well, if I understand what you're saying, Jimmy, it's everything is there's nothing checkers. There's no checkers that's happening on this planet anywhere. This is all chess. If you're watching TV, you're being fooled. I guarantee you. All the narratives on TV are all bull shizzle. Life does not, you will never defy the 0.01% watching the 0.01% television. All the narratives are bull shizzle. Yeah, Tony, I hear you. All right, one plus less indoctrination. And everyone's indoctrinated that way, Melissa. People aren't bad people. They're just, they have trouble thinking that their government doesn't love them. That's their problem. They have trouble thinking the world isn't the way the news says that it is. You know, and it takes people a little while of growing up in maturity, a little bit of history, reading some law, and a little common sense to realize that this is all bullshit. Definitely moron population. All right, yeah, Angel, wow, saw no one with a blank, lovely. Yeah, Christine, more and more people are taking those off, which is a good thing. There's enough research and enough scientists and doctors losing their jobs telling everybody that. Ron Paul has an online curriculum. He does, Lori, but didn't he get deleted? They deleted him on Facebook, I believe. So sad to watch kids go through this crap. It is, Elaine, it's crazy. It's crazy. And that's why Elaine's upset with me. She's like, you can't leave Pennsylvania. I'm like, I got to go. I'm sorry. I'm not in the mafia like you. I don't have Vinny the nose protecting me. I got to get the hell out of here. These people are nuts. I love them to death, but they're nuts, Elaine. I got to go. No, because of this. Yeah, exactly because of this. I want to take my kids to the movies. I can't even take them to the movies because these people are so ignorant. You know, they've destroyed all the restaurants and they've destroyed my favorite restaurant. I can't even go there. I can't even drive through places they've destroyed. No, I got to go. I'm done. I'm done. Find me a nice little, because you got to defy the system too. Go back to that Elaine's point. You got to defy the system. You got to defy. It wants to continue to scare children. So you got to take your kids to a place where it can't scare them. I mean, my kids, I don't think are scared. My kids just like, they look at most adults like they're crazy. And that's how I raised them. My kids will look at you like you're crazy. Shoot, I had to cuss my brother out last night. Shoot, well, not really, kind of, sort of ish. Because my son, he's upset. I know he's going through stuff, but my son wasn't playing. My son hit him in the jaw with some common sense. He just said, we're not in no crazy demic. He just said, just take a look at the global death statistics between 2019 and 2020. And that'll tell you everything you need to know. And I think ever since then, my brother's been upset with me. It's like, why you raise your kids to be so damn smart? I tried it, but they do it on their own. So, but either way, Elaine, they're grown. I don't want them to be around because things are going to get crazy. And when and if things get crazy, I need to be surrounded by like-minded people. And at this moment in time, I'm not. And plus, there are people that I think we need to make a space for. So before things get too crazy, some of us got to leave early, give up our lives, give up our wealth, give up all our things and our houses and all the stuff that was stolen from other countries and go make a place for other people. We had a lot of friends on here. They got ranches and they got lands that people can go to. I think even Brother Tony was talking about that in his last video. You know, but I'm unfortunately in one of those people who I think was called a long time ago to get the hell out of Dodge and start setting something up for other people who are right now part of the moron population. They don't get it, but we're no better than them, and I'm no better than them. I had a life where I could do more reading than watching television and chasing some wealth and all the crap that most people do. All right, so I feel like I have an obligation to go do that. So minimalism, burn this crap up, get on out there. All right, not so much for me. I don't want to be around them. Yeah, I don't want to be around them either too, Melissa. But then you got to think about what you're going to do too. You still got to provide. Yeah, so, you know, that's the thing. I'm taking my seeds. I got my plants ready to go, plant my perennials, get my things going, be able to feed enough people that I'd like to take, you know, out of the nonsense. Something else. Oh, but then you got to have, you know, a means of income. You know, you have to have a means of providing for yourself. You have to have a means of making medicine. Damn it, you need a means of making some beer, Melissa. So that was my essential oil maker that actually blew up the power grid at the at the workshop where I had to run downstairs and come back up because I got to get up on my essential oil game. And damn it, I might want to make some moonshine, like I said before, Melissa. So think about, like, how are you going to provide once you get off? We need to be able to take the creature comforts that we have on the 0.01% infrastructure and go off grid and still have, you know, the whole homesteading thing. I'm not doing. I'm gonna be comfortable. All right. So the sooner you go, the sooner you can build yourself up is my point with that. You want to scare the system, you don't get a Sharpie sign and go demand that they help you. You can go demand to Hershey all you want to give you chocolate. They're not going to give you chocolate. You can go to Coca-Cola with some signs and demand that they give you some Coca-Cola. They're not going to give you Coca-Cola. You're going to pay for it. It's a corporation. You can protest the United States Incorporated till you're blue in the face. They are going to do what they're told to do. They're not, politicians are actors. They're not politicking for you. They are literally acting. They have a job to do. They're not providing a service to the people. They are doing a job as staff of a corporation, and the corporation only knows profit. All right. Q is spray paint on the wall. The authors are both sides. Absolutely. And Jimmy, like I said before, I think they created Q to create more conspiracies, to create more terrorist organizations. That's why they just need to label people as terrorists, because now they're talking about reclaiming their birth certificates. I've been isolating from me for years. Not much has changed for me. Yeah, I've noticed that, Riley. We noticed that. Something about the bullhorn in Chicago and being able to yell out your window at people who are being stupid. Most people who watch TV, they don't have the ability to stand up strong like that. Yes, my grandma won't let me see her this whole time, and now she's been in the hospital. Don't think I'm going to see her, which is horrible, Gabrielle Gibson. Another reason to take this and blow this narrative up, right? The horrible things we've done to people leaving the earth, right? People who are their last days on earth, they can't even spend that with the people that they love. That is horribly abusive to people. So that's another good reason is they unfortunately, I'm gonna go back to Gabrielle. Gabrielle, they've killed over 1 million people. They've killed over 100 million with the trash that they subsidize, the chemicals that they put in food, and from lying about all of this and doing these lockdowns. And they've killed all these people, you know, and that's why I don't have a side in any of this. I'm just like, if you kill people, that's called murder. If you collude with those who kill people, that's called collusion, you know, and it's a horrible thing. You know, we need to grow up and stand up for the people that we've lost and the people we might lose. Thank God, Gerard, you're finally off the Q train. I was never on the Q train. I called Q, but you don't remember, Lori, I was fighting with Ty. Well, I wasn't fighting with Ty. Just Ty had a lot of Q friends, and I don't think Ty was on the Q train. But I told Ty, I just simply said that, you know, going back to my history as systems administrators on various systems and networks, I can tell you there's nobody's secret on the internet. And you know, and then people say, oh, well, Gerard and Ty had it blown out. Not really. I mean, I'm fine with everything Ty says and Ty believes, but Ty never really believed Q. We explained it in private messenger after. He just had a lot of Q followers and he was curious and he was like listening to somebody. Me, I didn't listen to any of it. I actually haven't read one Q drop. I don't know what Q dropped. He need to pick it up. There's no secrets on the internet. That's what I explained to a bunch of Ty's listeners. There's no secret people. There's no dark web. There is nothing. As a system administrator back then, with root level access and the sniffers we used to put on the network and access to keys that we had, the encryption keys, if we wanted to, we knew everything we wanted to in that corporation, everything. So there's no secret people. There's no secret web. The CIA, the deep state, whoever that is, they know exactly who Q is. They knew exactly what Q was going to drop. When he dropped it, they blessed it and they let it go up. You know, and that's the whole point is that there are no secrets. There are no secrets. There's no secret hero coming to save anybody. It's just us. So no, I've never been on the Q train. I've never even read a drop in my life. What I appreciate about Q, Lori, is Q pushed a lot of people to realize that we are a child trafficking organization. The United States Incorporated is a child trafficking. That's why I appreciate about Q. But like with this whole, you know, narrative trying to attach Q to sovereignty is all based in controlling the opposition and controlling the narrative. I'm convinced liberals are mental illness. Everything is, Mike. I would say everything. Liberals are mental illness, conservatives are mental illness, black is a mental, white is a mental illness. I think all of that stuff is. To me, it's all indoctrinated. It's all mental scams of giving people identities to control them. Every conservative should think differently to a point where they're not conservatives. Every liberal should think differently till they're not liberals, right? You're either sovereign or you're not. And if you're sovereign, you're unique. If you've got a label, then you're owned by something and you're attached to the groupthink of that group. So, all right, listen to the music. All right, I'm about to go. Never resonates with Q, tried, just didn't feel right. I won't even say that. I never got a chance to try it. I never, no, they poured me a couple cups of the Kool-Aid. I just never drank it. It's just, to me, it wasn't, I guess it was never that interesting to me. The whole Q thing never was that interesting. All right, get a lawyer. Who's saying get a lawyer? Saying what we need lawyers for? Looking and making dumbed down for decades. Long time in the making. Yep, everything is, Elaine. Somebody said they planned this stuff out generations ahead of time. And that wouldn't surprise me a bit. They literally gain the entire world. False hope lovers match MSN and follow psyops. The government cares about you. The government cares about you. Yeah, it does. Yeah. They literally just are forcing people to become a new breed of synthetic human with different DNA, and they care about your health. They've been poisoning grandma for the longest time. I'm sorry, I got to plug my essential oil maker back in. So if the power goes out, that's the end of the video. Nobody grab me and nab me. But where's my thing at? I can't stop production. I'm working on some things here. Hold on, here we go. We're almost there. It shouldn't though. I know what I did. I did something wrong. I let the power go too far. All right. G, you do good. Just give me air cover while I hit the trenches. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, well, everyone has to do how they do it. You know, Tony hits people the right way and says things how he has to say it. You know, you got to say it. You got to do you, bro. You can't do me. You got to do you. You have to speak it in the way you got to speak it, how it resonates with you. You know, Riley's got to get her bullhorn out there. Lori speak it her way. You speak it in your way. And the right people will pick it up. But if we try to speak and act like each other, then it won't go well. Some people need to hear it raw, slapped right across their face. Right? No Need still has his curriculum for homeschooling. No, he still has curriculum for homeschooling. Homeschooling is a great thing. People need to pull their kids out of the school. It's time for a homeschooling revolution. It's time for people to walk away from the system every way they can. I miss the movies. I do too, Sandy Carr, which is why we need to make our own movie theaters. We're already planning now what our movie screens don't look like off grid. The borders are closing for continents, unfortunately. Yes, they will, Christine, and you will not be able to leave or come in a country unless you are a synthetic human of their choosing and have the DNA that they want you to. Organic humans will become the enemies of the state. You know, and we've seen this narrative before. The master race. And the master race will be either the Modernas or the Pfizers, and they'll be conflicting with the organics and conflicting with the others. We are now becoming real races, and we should know where this is going. We've seen this happen before. His favorite restaurant is Red Lobster, and that's a damn shame if they shut that down. My liberal stepmom is convinced conservatism is a mental illness. They're all mental illnesses, I think, Christ. But more so, it's a tribal thing. You know, you get people together, it's groupthink. When you get them going in groupthink, then they can't think for themselves and they go along with the group for safety. And now's the time, Christ, where people just got to be strong. You got to stand up, stand on your own too, and say what you got to say, and don't give two damns what people think about it. If you know it to be true or close to the truth or is what you think, then you got to say it and don't worry about whether or not the group wants to keep you included or not. So come to South Carolina, got gators. That's a bad idea, Mark. Nobody should be anywhere where gators are. Everybody has an ism to enslave. They do, Lori, which is why we got to get rid of them. Walk in that direction. Just keep walking in the direction of getting rid of your isms. The isms are a mental trap. They all are. That's how they make you stupid. Hell, you know who? I don't know what that is, Mike. Voting is a mental illness. Yeah, and it's a ritual, Tony Smith. It literally is a ritual, and it does not help anything. Never has. Not sure how long I'll be here. Elaine, hopefully not too long. You got to have a place to go. Even if you don't have a permanent place to go, people, you got to have a bug out location. You know, it's like Tony was saying the other day, the doomsday preppers, them people are already gone. They're already into their fourth month of food supplies. They're already left. have a temporary place to go. I personally don't think there's going to be like a complete breakdown of the nation, but there is a chance that you will have local areas of real issues. But most importantly, it's about planning for the long term, Elaine. Think about it. Where do you want to be in 10 years, right? In 10 years, it might be to have a car, to have a driver's license, to go to the movies, that you got to be a synthetic human. And so you got to ask yourself the question, do you want to be a synthetic human, right? To buy popcorn from the grocery store, you got to scan your luciferase 666 chip or something like that. You don't want to do that. You got to go build a world that's long-term sustainable. And that's what is beautiful about all this, Elaine, is that I'm hearing hundreds of people talking about building communities and just going to live peaceful lives away from the United States Incorporated or in the countries that they live. Like the farmers in India standing up. A lot of people are posting about how Bill Gates is buying up all the land. Did y'all see that? Bill Gates is now the biggest farmland owner in the United States. Well, there's a clue, there's a hint there. If that doesn't turn your stomach a little bit, it should. He's one of the biggest investors in GMO foods, which soon you won't be able to chastise on social media. Following any leader is mental illness. Following anybody, anything, absolutely is some sort of mental enslavement. I gave up my mind a long time ago. Well, it wasn't your mind, Riley. It's good that you give it up. Your mind you had before you got here. Everything you got here since is indoctrination. 108 died in Illinois in 2019. Blank stares when you tell people that. Yeah, well, but Sandy, because it doesn't fit the narrative, right? And I think the other thing too, Sandy, is people love their drama. Like I try to tell my international friends this, Americans love their drama. They do. They need something to talk about. I hate to say it this way, but Sandy, it fits. They love when something new happens in Monkey World. They just want something to talk about. It's like with their drugs. Like, when I used to work in corporate America, people would come in the morning saying everybody, they go to the Venditteri to complain about how bad their body doesn't work and the drugs they got to take. Like it gave them some sort of like, I don't know, social credit or something like, oh yeah, well, I had to take this and I had to have a Xanax and a Prozac and this wasn't acting right. Then the kids did this and this happened. This didn't go right. And the boss had the nerve to call me and like people just love to complain. And there's something with American drama, indoctrination. People love something to talk about. So what they just got, Sandy, is for the last year, they've had something to talk about. And unfortunately, it got a lot of people killed. It ignored the real problems. It was all based in unscientific bullshizzle. And when you tell them something is true, they don't like that because then you're telling them that they believed a lie. And how does that saying go? It's easier to lie to someone to convince them that they've been lied to. Because once they become invested in it, they told their children, they told their neighbors, they put the gate up around their house. They got that plastic on the windows. They got face diapers for every outfit, matching shoes, and they don't want to admit it. They've already got pictures of the kids and on social media, we're being safe, and they don't want to admit that they were wrong. Being wrong is a part of being mature adults. And most Americans, they just love their drama and something to talk about. And they have very rarely will ever admit what they're wrong. The only people who admit they're wrong, Sandy Carr, are people with integrity. Those are the only people who will admit they're wrong. The rest of the Americans will go along with the narrative. All right, we need to buy property and start a project. Brother Paul, that is already happening. You need to buy land and start a project, bro. A lot of people are moving off grid. A lot of people are already gone. It's not we need to anything. You get together, you start doing it. And if people come with you, they come with you. They don't come with you, screw them. It's time to go. It's not a we. This is not. And this is what I try to tell people, Paul. It's like, oh, y'all just sit online and talk all day. No, you see me online talking all day. You don't see the essential oil maker. I got to turn this joker off. Hold on. I'm going to turn this off before it blows the power again. I can't even get through my front door. I got so many damn solar panels. We're almost there. So everybody needs to do their own thing. Get it, go do it. Just because you see us here does not mean that we're here. One day, Paul, some of y'all are gonna come on here like, hey, where's Gerard at? Where? Oh, they're not here. They left. They've gone. Yeah, next. I'd probably still do videos and stuff, but everybody, you need to be on it. On it like popcorn. Now is the time. get yourself your land or work with your neighbors, build your community sustainable garden, make a little local grocery store where you're growing most of your own food so you don't have to go along with what international billionaires require you to do to eat food. Go do it. The only thing on the internet is about helping other people to see what actually is happening, because this is the only place that we can do this, right? We come here to talk to people, say, hey, this is what you should be doing. They say, oh, well, let's get together and go do it. No, we're already doing it. We come here in our spare time to let you know this is what you should be doing. All right, I'm always packed. All right, good to go, Elaine. You better be packed. You never know when it's time. Got to have that bug out bag. The Lord said, if you love this world, you shall lose your life. Ooh, if you hate the world, you shall gain your life. Okay. If you love this world, you're going to lose your life. If you hate this world, you shall gain your life. Is that goes along with the scripture that says, those who are willing to lose their life will gain everlasting life, and those who try to cling to life going to become a synthetic human, a Rockefeller, Rothschild, Gates, Moderna, Pfizer clone, and the DNA will be modified and they'll be walked in the social credit score and the new slavery 3.0. I think I read that scripture. All right, people got to stop being comfortable. Yeah, it's time to get out. Nobody should be comfortable right now, Tony. If anybody's comfortable right now, you got problems. If you are comfortable right now, you don't know how this world, you got something, you about to die. Something bad about to happen to you. You shouldn't be comfortable in your lazy boy chair. You should be outside prepping the garden for next year, putting down some wood chips or something, getting the soil ready, putting some perennials in, ordering seeds online, planting your garden, preparing, getting together with your friends who moved out 15 years ago. You said, you're crazy. You're going to give up your job in corporate America, move out off grid and stuff. And they out there living and they're sustainable and they're strong, and you're weak and you live in a city and you don't know how to feed yourself. You don't have land or pots or soil or seeds to grow anything. You need to apologize to that person from 15 years ago. Tell them the doomsday preppers was correct. Apologize for your jokes, delete all the stuff that you talked about, and go be strong with that person because you're weak. If you cannot take care of yourself and you are dependent on their infrastructure, you are weak, and your children should feel ashamed of you until they see you stepping up, getting ready to prep them for what's about to happen. All right, people got to stop being comfortable. It's time to get outside of your comfort zone, Tony. That's how they get people with comfort. All this infrastructure is how they get people. You know, that's how they break people with, and I want to tie it back into the Washington, D.C. Act of 1870.
All right, so I was wrong. Damn it. I thought it was going to work out. It didn't work out. All right, well, I think that's a sign that I got to go. I broke the power, trying to get ready to go off grid with the power thing again. So I don't know if y'all can hear me. I'm going to get out of here. All right, this is very fun. It's the last comment that I'm going to again. That's how it works. That's how pull your resources, buy property, make your own system. That's where people need to be going right now. I'm out of here, you guys. I'm gonna take this as a sign. I got things to do today. And on here, and go do some things. All right, create. The DC 1870. Let me finish that point. Right. So what it did is it broke you. Right. The world's billionaires needed you dependent on their system. And once they got you dependent on their infrastructure, they were going to pull the carpet from underneath you, right? And that's what they just did. They got you dependent on their food, their water, their air conditioning, all of their crap. And they just pulled the rug from underneath you in a staged event where a lot of people died, because people die in false flags. And now that they've done that, they can walk you into doing whatever they want you to do because you're weak. So it's time to go be strong. It's time to be uncomfortable and go be strong. Stop being dependent on their systems and become independent. We got to go back to being independent people. And so you can't sit back and wait for Donald Trump to take the reins of the republic. That's not going to happen. Corporations don't just dissolve. They do that to get you to do nothing. Now's time to go. You want to put the fear of God in these billionaires who just did what they just did. You have to show them that you're done, right? Protesting is that's what they want. Violence, insurrection, that's what they want. That feeds them, that serves them. They know how to deal with that. That's why they want you to do it. They do that in every country all over this planet that they install puppet governments in. They know how to work that out very well. What they don't know what to do is you to stop believing in them. Where do they put most of their money? In violence and television, violence and media, right? And also stealing children, but that's another discussion. So deny them all of that. Get your kids out of a place where they can't get them out of these schools, homeschool, get off of their infrastructure, and mostly stop believing. They invest in the TV for a reason. They need you to believe. That is not the world we need. We need a new world. Let's build that new world. And the next world absolutely cannot, hang on. It can I gotta show this real quick. And then I'm gonna go. It's Gerard, I'm up. This is not a revolution. Is it working? I thought it
May we see your papers? I don't think I have them on me. In that case, we'll have to ask you to come along.
Wait, it's possible that yes. Here we are.
These papers expired 3 weeks ago. You'll have to come along.
Halt! Halt!
the music. Play goodbye music. I'm almost frozen. Come on, come on, play this music. Every superhero got to make an exit. Come on, where my superhero music at? Pat Riley saved me. All right.
Break the chains that bind me, 'cause I wanna break the chains that bind you. Do you wanna set the world free, have perfect harmony? Isn't it time for that? Do you wanna free, boom, 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 free the people? Do you wanna free, boom, 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 free the people from the bottom to the top? Make modern slavery stop. Do you wanna let go of the prisoners? See everyone happy. can have this and more if we open up the doors. Well, what do you think about that? Do you want a free, boom, boom, free the people? Do you want a free, boom, boom, free the people and Mother Nature too? Close down all the zoos. Do you want a boom, 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 boom? Do you want a boom, 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 boom? Do you want a free, boom, boom, free the people? Do you want a free?